Hey everyone, welcome back to another video on way to programming. Today we're going to discuss a topic. Uh, we will talk about query processing and distributed query processing. And this is another request by one of the subscribers. They have specifically asked for uh, the difference between query processing and distributed query processing. I think it's a very good question. So let's talk about it. And first of all, let's discuss traditional query processing. Okay, so if we talk about traditional query processing or just query processing, it's the main foundation of database systems, right? So whenever we talk about database management system, query processing is a part of it, right? And if I have to give you a very simple example, it is like, so running a query, we usually talk about running a query on a single database. It is like sending a request to a librarian to find a specific book in a small library. So suppose this is your library, right? And maybe there are, many books, there are many shelves, and you want to find a book from it, right? So you will make a request to the librarian and he or she will try to find like where that specific book is, right? So that is similar, right? Like it's similar to, running queries in on your system, on database system. Fine. And in this case, so if I take the same example, the librarian is sort of your database management system, right? It processes your query by scanning through the data on a single server. So this library is a single server, right? And it will retrieve the necessary information and return the results to you. Fine. That's what query processing is. Now let's talk about distributed query processing. Now this is a completely like a different game or a different way of processing the same data or working with the same data. Now, instead of a small library, suppose you have a massive library, right? And this library is actually spread across multiple buildings. So this is one, this is second building, this is third building, and again it has, many shelves, right? There are many almirahs, many, bookshelves and all that, and there are books. Fine. Now these libraries, because these libraries are spread across multiple buildings, all these libraries in different buildings will have different librarians, right? In distributed query processing, your database is distributed across multiple servers or locations, just like this. These are your different databases, right? And when you submit a query, it's like sending a team of librarians to search for the same book, each in a different building. And these librarians now, uh, right, they will, communicate with each other. So maybe one librarian is searching in this one, and then there is another librarian searching in this one, and then there is another librarian searching in this one, right? In different buildings, in different libraries. And these librarians will communicate with each other, right? So they will communicate with each other. They are communicating with each other, right? And what do they do when they communicate? They share information and they collectively work to find that specific request. So suppose you go to this specific library and it is spread across, multiple buildings. So this is maybe building one, this is building, two, this is building two, this is building three, and so on. And you ask for a book ABC, right? Now, this is first librarian, this is second librarian, this is third librarian. They all will go and search for that book and they will keep sharing with each other. So maybe let's say this librarian got the book So he or she will update first and third librarian and tell them that yes, we've got the book, and yeah, we can just finish the work, right? In the same way, if we talk about distributed query processing, data will be fetched from different nodes, right? So it could be like this is the first database, second, and like database is on different nodes, right? So every time you ask for a specific data, it will be fetched from different nodes. Okay, and then it is combined, and then it is processed to give you the result, because sometimes now for a given query, data needs to be fetched from different databases. Suppose you ask for name of a person and his or her details in the bank, right? So maybe they will fetch the name from this database, right? Then they will get some ID. Using that ID, they will fetch bank details from this database. And then they will combine these results and give you, the user, the exact information you're looking for, right? So that is what distributed query processing is all about. Now, let me talk about the main differences, right? So there are three main differences, key differences, I can say, between distributed and uh, simple query processing or traditional query processing. The first one is scalability. Now, if I talk about traditional query processing or simple query processing with one database, it is limited to the resources of a single server because we only have one database on on one server, right? So it is not that scalable. But if we talk about distributed query processing, because database is on different servers, like we have different nodes, like we talked about different buildings, it can be scaled very easily by adding, more buildings or by adding more nodes, more servers, right? So that's one of the benefits of distributed query processing. Another one is fault tolerance. Fault tolerance meaning, uh, if we talk about query processing, there is only one database, one server. If it stops working, everything stops, right? So there is no fault tolerance. But in distributed query processing, because there are many servers, if one server fails, the others will still continue the work, right? So there is higher fault tolerance. Fine. So the work will not stop because other servers are still working. And sometimes we can use other servers to, store the copies of data. So that's a different concept. Um, Another difference I wanna talk about is, I told you there are three key differences. So the third one I would mention, I would say, is performance, right? So if we talk about query and data distribution, both the methods are fine. Either method can outperform the other. It specifically depends on the specific use case, but usually, distributed query processing will have uh, good performance again because there are many servers, right? Because of fault tolerance. But again, sometimes if data can easily be fetched from a single server, query processing will be the best, right? So it really depends on the specific use case. And another difference, um, I don't know if it is key difference or not, but it just crossed my mind, complexity. So that's another difference, right? Distributed query processing obviously is more complex to set up and maintain because we are dealing with many servers, we are dealing with many databases, right? Data is distributed. There requires coordination. It requires coordination between, different servers. And if there are failures, handling is also very important, right? So it is a bit complex. Distributed query processing is a bit complex, right? So I hope you understand the differences between query processing and distributed query processing. And specifically, if you want to work with databases, if you want to, make a career in this field, uh, you need to understand the difference. Specifically, because databases continue to evolve to handle a vast amount of data, and it's all about choosing the right approach for your specific needs. right? So I hope you found this video informative. And if you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you're a new subscriber. And whoever asked this question, I hope it was answered. If it wasn't, feel free to ask again. Feel free to ask any doubt you have. You can post in the comments or send me an email. And I'll see you next time. Till then, take care.